Here's 5 secrets drama schools don't tell you. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be sharing 5 secrets that drama schools don't tell you. For those of you new to the channel, hi, I'm Rianna Feghali, as said in the channel thing. Yes. And I am a recent graduate of East 15 Acting School, graduating from their World Performance course. So in this video, I'm just going to be sharing 5 of many secrets that drama schools don't necessarily tell their pupils before they come. So we're just going to get right into it. Secret number 1, there is more written work than you think. So drama school, as you may gather, is a practical course because you're training physically to become actors, musicians, performers in general. So yeah, it's a physical course. But what they don't tell you is that most drama schools will have a lot of written work and a lot of theory-based work. That's because most drama schools in England now are affiliated with universities, meaning that the universities can help fund the drama school courses, but it means that the university wants grades to bump up their university ranking system. In order to do this, the universities put checks on what the courses do, but they say, all right, you can do that, but we need an essay from you almost every term, or we need a big almost dissertation essay at the end of every year so that the students can reflect on what they've learned, as well as the fact that students are expected to do proper dissertations at the end of 3rd year. So if you're like me and struggle writing essays, there's that for you. That was a bit of a surprise for me that I had to write a lot of essays. For my course in particular, we had to write a lot because you had to know the theory as well as knowing the practical stuff because of the context of what we were doing. But yeah, so you might want to start practice writing some essays or get someone to help you out with it because yeah, there's another fact coming soon that you might need to know. Secret number 2, it is not only physically, but mentally draining. As mentioned in the previous secret, drama school is a very physical-based course because, again, you're physically training to become actors and being able to catch up with everything. But it is also mentally draining, which I know some people kind of acknowledge that it is, but it's a lot more mentally draining than you think. From day 1, you are at the bottom of the barrel of the talent scale, you could say. And I will always remember this from my teacher, which I love because I completely agreed. A lot of people around you, as supportive as they are, the majority of them, when they first start, will think that they are the best of the best. They got into drama school compared to their other peers. They were probably top of their classes in school. They always got the lead roles. They were the favourites of all the teachers. Not at drama school. You are at the bottom of the barrel because you are practically equally as talented as everybody else around you. And you have to earn your praise, your lead roles. You've got to earn them and you've got to train and train and train because those next 3 years of your life determine the kind of performer that you are, and you don't realise that everybody's watching you. So if you are rude, if you're lazy, if you are self-appointed, arrogant, a-hole, everyone's going to know and no one's going to recommend you because nobody wants to work with anybody like you. But besides that, which that's another point, spilling the tea, it's mentally draining because you are having to completely turn your life around from what you normally do. Even if you've done like a foundation course or you've been doing performing before, it's completely different because you have to learn to do that drama school's their routine, their systems. Not only that, you've got to make yourself in that order. You've got to make sure that you do the work because when you're at drama school, you've got no one to hold your hand, really. You have got to put your mindset into this new routine. And not only that, it's because of this, you could be suffering a lot, especially when you're in lessons and you're trying really hard to do something, but for some reason you're just not quite getting it and you wonder why, what's wrong with me? And that's fine. At the end of the day, it's fine to be mentally draining. That's what it is, because our world is so completely different to the normal world. And it's absolutely fine to be mentally drained. But the important thing is that not only do you have to take care of your physical health, you've also got to take care of your mental health, because the amount of people, so in comparison, we had a lot of people who were physically like drained, which is fine, that's normal. But people who were mentally drained, they just ended up suffering until eventually they were just like, they realized that they needed to drop out, which is fine. But you know, you've got to take care of your mental health, and drama schools don't really prepare you for that, because they're just seeing you as potential actors, and you're not allowed to let anything, any little bits, any little parrots get in the way of that. But you've just got to carry on with it. Secret number 3, rejection doesn't mean you're untalented. Now, this is more of a secret for when you're auditioning for drama schools, but I think it's important to share it now. So when you go to drama school, fabulous, you made it, you've done it, but that's only one part of becoming a performer. For those of you who are auditioning, who may have been on a foundation course before and you've done the training for a year, or you've done professional work before and you don't get into a 3-year course, it doesn't mean that you're untalented because you've already got there. This goes to the same with potential new auditionees. Just because you don't get in anywhere doesn't mean that you're untalented or that you're not good enough. Most of the time, like pretty much 9 times out of 10, it's just that you're not ready. For me, when I was 17, that's when I realised I wanted to go to drama school, but I had no clue what I was meant to do, like for auditions. So instead, I took a gap year. Then in my gap year, when I turned like 18, 19, I auditioned for drama school and I didn't get in. And then the next year, I auditioned again and I got in. But that year that I didn't get in when I auditioned for drama schools, it was just because I wasn't ready. Like, I was very naive about drama school and everything, especially when a lot of my peers around me at the time had all got in. And I was like, why didn't I get in? I want to get in. Like, I worked so hard this year. It's just because I wasn't ready. And a lot of people fail to acknowledge that, like, or they just don't understand. And it's just because you're not ready. A lot of people, when they turn 17, 18 and they are still in college or sixth form, a lot of them don't get in because they're so young. They want people with a bit more experience. And those who are that age, if you get in, like, congratulations, amazing. But it just means that they're probably at a stage, like, mentally and professionally, that they are ready to tackle what drama schools throw to you. Like, as mentioned before, it's physically and mentally draining, and they can see if you're not ready. And yes, you could be the most talented person ever, but again, if they see that you're not ready to handle it, they would rather you hone your craft, hone your persona, do what makes you, like, just getting there more, and then, you know, you could possibly get in, like, the next year. I know someone who spent 8 years getting in, and then they finally got in, and it was, like, amazing. And, you know, they were ready to give up after 8 years, but they carried on. And at that point, they were just like, yes, I'm ready. And for them, they were just saying, I remember them saying, like, how it was right for them at that time to get in. And they did say that at that point, like, you know, I don't think I would have enjoyed the course or been able to do as much as I would have wanted to if I was younger. But, you know, at the end of the day, you get in, and that's great. If you don't get in, it's not the end of the world. Trust me, it's not the end of the world. You know, you're just not ready, and that's perfectly fine. Secret number 4, drama school throws you in the deep end with everything. Now, this sounds a bit weird, but I'm just gonna elaborate as minorly as possible, because as you can tell, I blabber a lot. The courses are tailored to help you become professional performers, actors, musicians, whatever. And with their lessons, they just throw you in the deep end, and you've got to, in a way, swim your way to keep up on top. If you keep sinking lower, you're gonna struggle. And, you know, that's normal because they're waiting for you to take that initiative. Unfortunately, drama schools, most of them aren't really properly funded, and they don't have time to support you. Partly because you're adults, you should be doing that yourselves if you really want to, but at the same time, they just don't have the resources. So when they're saying, you're going to perform this monologue, and you're doing it now, and then when they're correcting you for everything, that's just because they're needing to do the job and then wanting you to take that initiative. And if you're really struggling, you know, again, that's fine. You know, there are support systems there, and you can tell the teacher there, like, I'm really struggling with this. Can you help me out? And then they will say, well, yeah, you need to work on this. try this exercise or whatever, and then they're fine. You know, that's what they do. And then it's up to you to take that initiative, which is amazing. That's the word of the day, initiative. For me, I remember doing movement and yoga, and we had to do a stretch when you're on your belly and you're like using your core to lift your arms and your legs up. Now for me, I've got really large shoulders. I've got a big like torso bit, but I've got really short limbs as well. And everybody could like grab their ankles when they were doing that pose, and I couldn't, and I was getting really frustrated. So at the end of the session, I asked the teacher why I couldn't do it. Like, it was really annoying. And she just flat out said, it's just because you got big shoulders. It's not a bad thing. It's just, that's the way you're built. If you're wanting to improve that, get a stretch band and try those exercises every day. And it was great. Like, eventually I was able to do it for a while. I've lost touch with it now because I stopped doing the exercises. But again, like, they throw you in the deep end because they want you to, like, they want to see what you're made of at that point. And if they feel that you need some help, they will come tell you. And lastly, secret number 5, you will not be perfect at everything by the end of your 3 years. Now, this is an interesting one because courses can specialize in certain aspects of what they offer, which is fine. But there are some courses like mine that explores different elements of performance. And you'll probably think, oh, I'm going to be the best of the best because I've trained here and I've been able to specialize in all of this. Truth be told, you're not going to be perfect at everything. Like, it's really hard. And that is more mentally and physically draining than you may think. For me, I really tried really hard to be good at this thing called capoeira. But I just wasn't. I couldn't do it. Like, it's bad to say I couldn't do it, but it was more of the fact that I physically couldn't do it. I was just not flexible. I'm not acrobatic. I've never done anything like that. So I really struggled. But then there were other people who struggled at other elements of performance that I was really strong at. So for example, clowning. Like, I'm not a clown. There's like very specific people that need to be clowns, but that was more of my forte because it's a comedy thing. It's a physical comedy performance style, which is more of my strength. But some people, it wasn't their strength, and that's just because it just didn't click with them, you could say. And there's people who try to be perfect at everything, which is good. If you've got that attitude to make yourself better for them, go for it. But don't expect to be the best of the best because it's just impossible. If you keep trying and it's mentally draining you, then that's when you need to stop and just think, right, I can do the best I can, but I can't be perfect at it. I'll always remember our clowning teacher discussing with us about how there's no point in us trying too hard at everything, when in reality we should be focused on the things that makes us like strong and makes us entertaining. And I remember there was a bit of a debate about that, which, you know, I could see both sides to it, but it was really interesting. And he pointed me out, which it's still really weird because I loved clowning. Like, we would encouraged to dress up every lesson, even though it was on lockdown at that point, but I still took like the advantage of it because I like dressing up, and you know, why not, makes this lockdown lesson far more interesting. And he pointed me out saying that like, you really enjoy it. Like, he did point out saying that I'm not a clown, which fair enough, but like I could be a comical character, which fair, like I love doing comedy. But he said to me, how would you feel about doing a Greek tragedy? And I was like, absolutely not. As much as it would be really good fun and a really good experience to be in a Greek tragedy, I just know it's too classical, it's too strict, and it's just not clicking. I think I need to find a different way around it. But, or would I be like in a circus? No, absolutely not, because I'm not physically able to do it. And there are other things that I just don't enjoy as much. And he says that you need to find the pleasure in what you do. And I completely agree with that, because I would so much rather have my pleasure in comedy than trying to find pleasure in something of Greek tragedy. At the same time, though, it is good to be expanding on different skills, which is great. But for you to be a performer, you need to find what makes you happy. And even if that means you're doing the same thing, if that makes you happy, go for it. Like, the days when I was trying to be perfect at doing like theory work and capoeira in different types of acrobatics and classical stuff. Like, as much as they were enjoyable at the time, they didn't give me the pleasure, and you know, I could never be perfect at them, which is like, oh, I really want to be perfect at them, because then that's something to put on my resume. But at the end of the day, it's just not me. And this goes back to what's mentally draining. If you try and force yourself to be good at something, you're just going to burn out, and that can affect you in the long run. So, you know, if you're not perfect at something, it doesn't matter. Like, you have other skill sets that people around you may not have. If you can play the accordion, like one of the hardest instruments ever, like, that's amazing. Like, but then someone else could be like, they can't even shake a maraca in time. And that's not a bad thing. Even if you're trying, it just means that you've got other skills that someone else has. At the end of the day, drama schools take a range of people with a range of different skills, and they want to showcase that because they want to showcase that individual. Most drama schools will take people who look different, who sound different, different skills, different backgrounds, and that's the best thing you can do. Because why do you want to be perfect at everything? Why do you want a perfect mold of someone who looks and sounds and has the exact same skills as you? Because at the end of the day, you're different. And what you provide to the table is what's special about you. And that is going to conclude the video for today. If you like that, comment down below if you want a part 2, because there are so many more secrets to spill. If you liked the video, don't forget to like the video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more notifications. If you want to keep up to date with any video updates, or if you even want to get involved in any videos, don't forget to follow the social media handles in the description box below. Thank you all for joining. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you all are staying safe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!